Which of these 3 tweets performed the best? You have 3 seconds to guess. 1, 2, 3. The first one. Did you get it right? Actually, the amount of views it has is the sum of these two. But the question is why? I think the answer comes down because it's much more related to the viewer. Today's video is going to be a deep dive into content creation and understanding how it works. Content consumption. They are scrolling and I want to get their attention, and I know one thing, that is they are goal driven. So by leveraging that, I can get their attention. So what could be their goals? Learn, pass time, motivation. I thought that people were on social media to learn, and this is where I made a mistake. Just think about the last time you were on Instagram, TikTok, X, Threads, LinkedIn, or any other short-form content platform where you wanted to learn something. Now, I don't think that happened. You haven't been thinking about, oh, what can I learn here? And this was a harsh truth for me, because I thought that people were conscious about their time and they went on social media to gather information. But not exactly. They are looking for something, not information, but motivation. People on social media consume content to feel good about themselves, watch a motivational short, read a tweet that makes them laugh. They're unconsciously directing their attention to create this good feeling. And because I am an architect, this came from the Myers-Briggs test, the 16 personalities, I thought that people are like me. I thought they are looking for principles, ideas and information. And I realized that the reality is not this. I like to learn about psychology, entrepreneurship, business, persuasion, content creation, physics, biology, anything in the world. And being this person, I thought that others are like me, and that is exactly not true. People are not like me, and that's the beauty of it. People are different. But what this means is I had to shift my content creation from thinking in my perspective to think how others want to consume content. This is the point where I created my levels of understanding. As I venture on the paths of content creation, I like to gather information from others. I like to take inspiration from those who are doing better than me, imitate then innovate. As I'm looking for good content, I start to see a pattern. Every viral piece of content is a beginner level content. This is the pattern I have observed. People want beginner level content. I heard this quote from Danko, I don't know when and how, but when I was doing my analysis, things started to make sense. It sparked this new concept in my head. The idea was that if I can create beginner level content, I can easily get views. Or this was my first thought. Firstly, let's look at some examples, what I mean here. This is Danko's top tweet. If you pay close attention, he tells you exactly what to think and how to think. He could also say here that don't have an opinion on things you don't understand, but he's shaping it for a beginner level consumer to understand his point from an angle of confidence. This is one of the top tweets from Aaron. If you analyze it, you can see that it's filled with lines that tell the viewer what to do. But also, he could say here, cut everything which doesn't improve your life, but he doesn't. When analyzing this piece of content, I realized how much it matters how you form it. People like it when they are told what to do. That's why the videos about the new dropshipping model 2025, oh my god, exclamation mark, 4, exclamation mark, you know, these types of videos are performing amazing. People hate thinking. So if you understand how to speak from a level of confidence without arrogance, you can easily gather people around you. When I realized this whole situation, I set out myself to create something new, a new law, a new principle which can help me guide myself when I'm creating content. This is what I call the levels of understanding. It grows from level 1 to 3. Level 1 is a beginner, level 2 is an intermediate, level 3 is an advanced. Whatever content you're creating, it can be placed on this line. This is a low angle slope because the difference between level 1 or 3 is not really observable, but it makes a difference. There are no visible dividers, it's more like a spectrum where you can place the content accordingly. Of course, this metric is only usable for the same type of content. I cannot put a tweet and a dissertation at the same line. Now, if you know about levels of awareness, this shouldn't be mixed with it. This is something next to it. If you don't know about it, watch this video. This is a depth capturing hooks. I have already shown you 2 tweets which are level 1, but I'm going to show you 2 different tweets which are level 2 and 3, which I have created. This could be in the level 2 section. It's intermediate, meaning that it requires a bit more understanding for it, but it's still not too complex. What I could say to make this a level 1 content is have a good hook, provide value, and you're a successful creator. This is much easier to understand. Of course, before posting it would need a lot of iteration, but the core idea is much more understandable for a beginner level reader. This is advanced level content. To understand this, you need a comprehensive understanding of yourself and reality. Rewriting this as a beginner level content can be done in multiple ways because it has multiple good ideas. But I would write, you hold the pen. It starts when you're born, but until it ends, you write your own story. This is such a good idea that I'm going to post it, of course, after iteration. So as you have seen, I've stolen this idea from myself and I've created something that people would actually consume. It's closer to them, it's much more beginner friendly. If a 5th grader would read it, they would understand it. Good writing is much more complicated than just expressing your ideas. That's why I think this principle can help a lot of people on their journey. And also this principle applies to everything which deals with consumers. Tweets, thumbnails, titles, headlines, or anything like that. Write good content. You now understand levels of understanding, and we have already talked about one sentence persuasion and levels of awareness in this video. But how can you use all of this knowledge for yourself in your content creation? First, idea. There is not a great content without a captivating idea. Good artists copy, great artists steal. To create the best content possible, you need a plethora of knowledge, skills, and ideas. Every creator is like a DJ. While the DJ mixes beats, rhythms, vocals, sound effects, the creator mixes ideas, quotes, thumbnails, titles to create a perfect piece of content. Your job as a creator is to mindfully consume content. TED Talks, YouTube videos, lectures, books, podcasts, articles, and wherever you have a captivating, good and intriguing idea, you have to note that down. And this is where your note-taking system comes in. And this is the problem I have been dealing with in my modern day polymathy product, which is still not out, but you can check the video, this is the thumbnail. And I have learned one method from Denko, which is the 7 days to genius. There will be a link down below to get it. And it's great for content ideas and dissecting your thoughts, but for books, it's not really an optimal method for taking notes. Now back to content creation. The reality is that for in-depth content, you need ideas that you have thought about. If you didn't think it through or went through some kind of framework for dissecting it, it's not a great idea. It's just sitting somewhere in your head, in your mind. It needs iteration. That idea is something you haven't really thought about, but how are you going to analyze ideas for the maximum impact? And it depends on every kind of person. But there is some core elements for every idea which can be used. It's the problem, goal, benefit, example. Marketing, persuasion, sales, copywriting, content creation, everything revolves around these 4 things. It's because these are the 4 things people actually care about. If I create a content and it doesn't solve my problem or it doesn't help get closer to my goal, it doesn't matter. Or if it doesn't show me what I will get from it, it doesn't matter. Or I don't understand it, then it also doesn't matter because so a problem, a goal, a benefit, and an example is the perfect method for dissecting an idea. Each idea can be dissected into these different elements. When you're creating your content, you can use them individually. So let's see an example together. I went to a website called Random Idea Generation. I have generated an idea and it came out to be lavish art. And now we can do the analysis. Firstly, the problem. The creation of luxurious art takes time. People don't understand how much time it takes, and this is one of the reasons why it's so valuable. Second, goal. The creation for a painting and art is not the money or the fame, it's about expressing myself in art which is beautiful, eye-catching, and it inspires others. What is the benefit? Well, a rich art which is so beautiful will transform your living room. It will be a place of warmth and visual interest where everywhere you just see, you have inspiration. An example for luxurious and well-elaborated art is Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa. That's a beautiful painting that no one can recreate as captivating as he did. This is a very rough example because I don't have ideas like lavish art. I usually think about quotes, tweets and headlines. But now you have a vision on how you can just simply, this idea of lavish art can be dissected into multiple elements. And this can fuel your content to the next level. The good content. By having fascinating ideas, we can start creating captivating content. But what is the method for that? If you want my help, there is the Singularity link down below, you can check it out. The right step for creating content is understanding this old saying of less is more. The best content leaves the biggest impact with the fewest words. Don't say a simple thing in hundreds of sentences, get straight to the point. People don't have time for it. Leaders don't dance around the point they are trying to get across. If your content was about well-elaborated rich art, then go and write it, don't overcomplicate it. People love it when they get a lot of information within a short time. Please their desire. But don't confuse the idea of saying something with the least words with no explanation. If it's not clear what you're talking about and people don't understand it, explain it to them. But still don't talk about one thing for hours without added value. That's not good for content. Third, how to write good content. Start with the idea, dissect it, analyze it, understand it on a different level. Then start the creation process. And for me, the best method for creating a good piece of content is clearly writing down what I want to convey to the viewer. If my content cannot be summarized into one sentence, then it's too complicated. I have to rewrite it. Let's say we want to create a content around lavish art. And let's say I am a painter who has painted a beautiful landscape in Britain countryside. Now I have to summarize my content into one sentence. While the landscape is beautiful, rich with green and dark green colors, the process is hard because of the rain and lack of sunlight. You can now see how this one sentence can be turned into a tweet, a long form video, a short form content, a novel. The story is given, now you just have to fill in the gaps. That's why summarizing your content is the perfect method for creating content. Let's say you're not telling a story, so you're creating other type of content. Still, you need to summarize everything into one persuasive argument. Lately, I have created a video of the depth capturing hook. That's where I talked about how to form your content which catches hook and gets in people. But I could summarize this whole video into one sentence. Good hooks capture attention not with false gimmicks but with the actual depth behind the content. This simple sentence is the whole persuasive argument for the video. And by knowing it so precisely, I can continuously iterate my content about how I write it to reach this destination, which is to prove that this is true. Of course, besides proving that this is true, I have to make sure that you actually start taking the advice. This is how you create good content. By understanding levels of understanding, dissecting ideas, saying it with the least words, and summarizing into one big sentence. If you want to learn about levels of awareness, one sentence persuasion, anything around content creation, check out my YouTube videos. You shouldn't underestimate how much good content is worth in this economy. So if you need help to thrive and flourish in this economy, check out Singularity, link in down below. Thanks. See ya.